Let's jump into problem 16.3a. We're working on a convertible bond that is going to get retired. On December 31st, 2030, Atlanta Company issued $4 million of 6% convertible bonds at par, meaning 100%, no discount, no premium. They got 100% of the money they were asking for. Interest is payable semi-annually on June 30th and December 31st, and the bonds mature December 31st, 2040. Note, identical bonds without the conversion feature would have sold at 99% of the asking price, and the yield to maturity there is 6.14%. Now, this difference, this 1% difference, 4 million times 0.01, this $40,000 difference is a key difference between IFRS and US GAAP. US GAAP says the debt is the debt. Worry about the conversion when they convert. IFRS says that 1% difference, that $40,000 that we're willing to pay for the conversion feature, and that's what we are, that's equity, and we need to treat it as equity. We're going to do the US GAAP way first. It's simpler. Now, my lovely Canadian students, you need to learn US GAAP and IFRS way of doing this because both are allowed in Canadian accounting standards. But let's do the US GAAP way. It is pretty straightforward. December 31st, 2030, we're going to debit cash, of course, and we just got the full amount. We don't worry about the equity component here. We just got paid $4 million and we issued bonds payable at $4 million. Okay, now we make an interest payment. $4 million at 6% interest is $240 a year. But of course, we're not a full year later. We're 6/12 of a year later. And again, if we had discounts or premiums, we would have to amortize those, and our interest expense would be a little different here. This is June 30th, 2031. We're going to credit cash for $120. And we're going to debit interest expense. I left an extra line thinking I had a discount or premium to amortize, but we don't with this bond because it was issued at par. Then July 1st, we retire all the bonds. July 1st, 2031, get rid of all the bonds payable. Debit bonds payable for $4 million. But what did I pay to retire the bonds? Well, I paid $102. July 1st, immediately after the first semi-annual payment, Atlanta Company retires all the bonds for cash at $102. So these are $4 million worth of bonds, and I pay 102% of face value to retire them. I pay $40.80 in cash to get rid of these bonds. And what's the difference? The $80,000? That's a loss on retirement. And there you go. We've done this the US GAAP way. And if that's all you're learning, well, hit the like and subscribe and see you later. If you are an IFRS person or a Canadian that has to learn both, stay tuned. We'll do part 2 right now. It says redo A through C under IFRS or Canadian ASPE with, they make the choice to do it. Canadian ASPE people have the choice to do either one, but let's assume they choose to do the IFRS way with the following assumptions. On July 1st, 2031, fair value of the bonds excluding the conversion was $39.85. That's useful for the retirement, but we don't need that information right just yet. So here's how I like to deal with this, and this is the real key paragraph for IFRS. I like to pretend we issued those identical bonds because we're going to treat these bonds as if we issued them at 99, and then the extra 1% that was, we said, equity, we'll just treat it on its own. So we pretend like we have 99% bonds here, bonds issued at a discount at a 99 quote. So we debit cash, of course. Now, I'm going to change this number, but let me do this in blue ink, actually. So it is December 30th. I thought I switched to blue. I clicked the thing. Okay, there we go. It's December 31st, 2030. And we debit cash for $4 million times 99%. I'm going to change this number in a second, but go with me for now. $39.60. So we're pretending we issued these bonds at 99. We're going to credit bonds payable, of course, for $4 million. And then the balance goes to the discount, right? If we issued them at 99, there's a $40,000 discount on bonds. Okay, so that's what this would have looked like at 99. But remember, we didn't issue at 99. We actually got $4 million cash, $4 million of cash changed hands. This doesn't balance anymore. And the $40,000 difference, what is that? That is, of course, the equity portion that we were discussing, that extra 1%. We said that's an extra $40,000, and we call that contributed surplus, conversion rights. Okay, and so we've done our first piece. The second thing we were asked to do is the June 30th, 2031 interest payment, but we can't do the interest payment because we don't know the interest expense, because we need to do the effective interest method when we're amortizing bond discounts or premiums. So let's get going with that. December 31st, 2030, our discount account balance is $40,000, and our bond carrying amount is $4 million minus $40,000. It's $39,60,000. The next relevant date, June 30th, 2031. Our interest payment is based on what was written on the bond, 6%, the bond rate, 6%, and we divide by 2 to get 3 for semi-annual payment. Our interest expense is based on the market rate of interest, the yield to maturity, which is 6.14%. I've gone to great lengths to remind people I could make you calculate this, right? With a financial calculator, it's trivial, and even with a doing it by hand is not too bad. Okay, so we're 6.14% divided by 2 is 3.07% per semi-annual period, and now we can fill this in. This is, of course, a discount, not a premium. So 3% of the maturity value, 3% of $4 million is $120,000. 0.0307 times the preceding bond carrying amount times 3960 is 121,572. So to fill this thing in, 121,572 minus 120 is 1,572. And my discount account balance, 40,000 minus 1,572, 38,428. 4 million minus 38,428. 39,61572. And there's our table. The June 30th entry just falls out of the first 3 columns here. Our interest payment, credit cash, 120. Debit interest expense, 121,572. And the difference goes to discount amortization, which is just the discount. Credit our discount by 1,572. All right, now we're on to the last piece, the real key cornerstone element here. July 1st, 2031, we retire the bonds, and we retire them at 102, meaning we're paying 4080, right? 4 million times 102% is 4080. So let's start there. Let's credit cash. I'm going to leave a lot of room for more debits and credits because there are a lot more with this one. We're going to credit cash 4080, and what are we getting rid of? Well, we're getting rid of the bond, right? So debit bonds payable for 4 million. We're also getting rid of the contributed surplus on the bond. I'm just going to say contributed surplus CR, conversion rights, 40,000. We're getting rid of the whole thing. We're also getting rid of the discount on the bond. Now, the discount was carried at 38,428, so let's credit the discount, 38,428. And now we are unbalanced, and there's 2 accounts we need to be worried about. One, is there a gain or loss on the retirement of the bond? And 2, is there a gain or loss on the equity retirement here? The fact that we ditch this contributed surplus account. And the answer is generally there's going to be a little bit of both. So here's how we figure that out. The first step is just to say, okay, what's the fair value of the bond on the date of retirement? So it says on July 1st, 2031, the fair value of the bonds excluding the conversion feature was $39.85. And you can see the bonds are sitting here on our books at $39.61. That's a loss. It's because when we retire them, of course, we're having to retire at fair value. So we're losing here. So $39.85,000, that's the fair value. The book value, $39.61,572. We're going to subtract the two, $39.85,000 minus $39.61,572 is $23,428. That's a loss on retirement. So let's debit that. Loss on retirement. $23,428. And now this isn't going to balance, I don't think. If it balances, we're done. But if it doesn't balance, plug retained earnings, and that's our equity gain or loss on this disposal. So I'll add up the debits. I get 4063428 on the debit side. On the credit side, I get 41. I got to add this in my calculator. I'm doing it in my head. That's never a good sign. Plus 4080. 4118. 428. My credits are bigger than my debits, so I'm missing a debit. I'm going to have to debit retained earnings for the difference here. 4118428 minus 4063428 is $55,000 debit to retained earnings. And there we go. So the retirement, much tougher under IFRS than under US GAAP. That's why it's a question in most Canadian accounting textbooks. We have to learn both ways, and you can see it is more challenging. But we did it. We're up for the challenge. If you made it to the end of this, my goodness, smash one of those buttons on your way out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. The next video in our series is right up here, and if you want a supercut of all of the videos in this series, that's the one down below.